On May 19, 2010, YouTube user Thunderfoot posted a video in support of Draw Muhammad Day, an initiative taken on Facebook to protest the often violent censorship advocated by many Muslims against anyone who insults Muhammad or blasphemes against Islam. The event, although popular and successful, in that it brought attention to the issues of censorship in Islamic society, had its detractors. And when the success of the initiative was touted, there was a vocal minority who were of the opinion that when countries like Pakistan blocked Facebook and YouTube, the initiative failed, since there was now more censorship in the world, and not less. I have to call bullshit here. Claiming that those who exercise free speech are somehow responsible for the censorship imposed is exactly like saying that a woman in a short skirt is herself responsible for being raped. No matter how short her skirt, she is not responsible for the actions of the rapist. And no matter how offensive the speech, we are not responsible for the actions of those who would censor us. We are in fact intentionally offensive to draw attention to the fact that they do. Long before Draw Muhammad Day, Pakistan and the Organization of Islamic States have been actively working to limit free speech by lobbying the UN to enact anti-blasphemy laws. Such regulations would make it a criminal offense to speak out against the teachings of any religion, no matter how wrong and offensive those teachings may be. Imagine being imprisoned for speaking out against the Westboro Baptist Church. And the OIC has met with some success. Every year since 1999, Pakistan and the OIC have introduced anti-blasphemy resolutions into the UN and managed to actually get them passed. The resolutions, although non-binding, are still disturbing, and if they manage to get a binding resolution passed, member states will be obliged to make laws enforcing it. For those of you who think our initiative is pointless because Muslim populations here in the West are low, and let's face it, Western society isn't going anywhere soon, please allow me to introduce you to the lovely nation of Ireland. In response to Middle East bans on Danish products, particularly Danish dairy products, the Irish government enacted anti-blasphemy laws of its own to appease the Islamic nations and ensure the lucrative Middle East markets would remain open. This is a clear example of a Western democracy throwing the rights of its citizens under the bus and appeasing Islam in the name of corporate profit. Events like this make protests like Draw Muhammad Day even more important. Corporations and the governments who serve them don't care about your rights. They can't be counted on to protect your rights. Only grassroots protests and legal challenges to raise awareness have any chance of success. Now, for anyone living in the United States for any length of time, one could easily be forgiven for not knowing about these events. Blasphemy laws would not only be unthinkable, they would be unconstitutional. Telling someone here that blasphemy laws exist in the West would probably be met with skepticism and incredulity. Blasphemy laws in the West are not covered much by our corporate media. This situation is discussed in this article on the ABC News website that states, when a modern Western country whose economy is based on science and technology adopts an absurdly medieval law, one would think that this would be a news story of at least moderate size. Oddly though, almost no attention has been paid in the United States to the passing last month of a bill establishing a crime of blasphemy in Ireland. Not only is there a media blackout on the subject, but the media is often seen supporting Islamic censorship over free speech. Liberal viewers seem to think that this was a result of the offensive, in-your-face nature of our protest, as seen in this clip.
Choosing a message offensive to many Muslims who are also offended by death threats alienates potential allies and leaves the campaign susceptible to being spun in a way that misses the real message. And this week, to prove my point, I saw a news story with just the kind of spin I was worried about coming from, of course, Fox News, which reported on Pakistan lifting a ban on Facebook that resulted from Draw Muhammad Day like this.
A Pakistani court now lifting the nation's ban on Facebook. The social networking site was restricted 2 weeks ago due to some outrage over a page encouraging users to post images of the Prophet Muhammad. Many Muslims regard any images of the Prophet to be blasphemous. A Pakistani minister says Facebook has since apologized and assured the government that nothing like this will happen again.
So there you have it. No mention of the previous cartoonist who got death threats or that the whole exercise was meant as a fight for free speech. Just a description of a web page many Muslims find blasphemous, along with Facebook's apology. And, of course, since this is Fox News, the supposed straight news anchors had to add a little extra spin, directing blame at Facebook, as you can see in this concluding clip.
Facebook doing a lot of apologies lately. This is Quit Facebook Day. I have not quit, though.
I have not quit either, but I know a lot of people are. They don't like the whole privacy stuff going on there.
But Facebook says they're handling it.
All right. Well, we're watching you, Facebook.
What he failed to take into account is that Saudi Prince Al-Walid bin Talal recently purchased a substantial portion of Fox News.
It turns out, and this happened recently, the second largest shareholder in News Corp now is Saudi oil tycoon Prince Al-Walid bin Talal. And he owns 7% of News Corp, which is, after Rupert Murdoch, the largest share. So I guess Prince Al-Walid bin Talal did not approve of a commercial that says, let's stop sending our money to the Middle East to buy their oil, because that's exactly what the good prince sells.
I think the Saudi prince's influence may have more to do with the Fox News spin on the story than a few stick figures of Muhammad. Some have said that the best way to fight this is simply to not live in fear. If we live in fear, they say, the terrorists have won. And while I applaud your courage to bravely stand by and do nothing, while those who would enslave us plan, plot, and execute their strategies with the full funding of nations and corporations behind them, is nothing less than appeasement. That is why I will continue to support initiatives that support free speech, separation of church and state, and the dismantling of Sharia law worldwide. I don't want my granddaughters to wake up in a world where they have to bravely endure tyranny.